Good morning. This is PJ, Pastor Jeff at Bayview Lutheran Church. We're here for our daily lectionary readings, and we have our 3 readings for today, which is Monday, June 7th. We're in the complementary, Psalm 74, 1 Samuel 16, and Revelation 20. Let us get going. And we're going to switch it over, and we're going to do the message again. So here we go. Psalm 74. You walked off and left us and never looked back. God, how could you do that? We're your very own sheep. How can you stomp off in anger? Refresh your memory of us. You brought us a long time ago, your most precious tribe. You paid a good price for us. Your very own Mount Zion. You actually lived here once. Come and visit the site of disaster. See how they've wrecked the sanctuary. While your people were at worship, your enemies barged in, brawling and scrawling graffiti. They set fire to the porch, axes swinging, they chopped up the woodwork, beat down the doors with sledgehammers, then split them into kindling. They burned your holy place to the ground, violated the place of worship. They said to themselves, we'll wipe them out, and burn down all the places of worship. There's not a sign or symbol of God in sight, nor anyone to speak in his name. No one who knows what's going on. How long, God, will barbarian blasphemy, enemies curse and get way by it? Why don't you do something? How long are you going to sit there with your hands folded in your lap? God is my king from the very start. He works salvation in the womb of the earth. With one blow, you split the sea into 2. You made mincemeat of the dragon Tanin. You lopped off the heads of the Lephleon, then served them in a stew for the animals. With your finger, you opened up the springs and creeks and dried up the wild floodwaters. You own the day. You own the night. You put stars and sun in place. You laid out the 4 corners of the earth, shaped the seasons of summer and winter. Mark and remember, God, all the enemy taunts, each idiot desperation. Don't throw your lambs to the wolves. After all that we've been through, don't forget us. Remember your promises. The city is in darkness, the countryside violent. Don't leave the victims to rot in the street. Make them a choir that sings your praises. On your feet, O God, stand up for yourself. Do you hear what they're saying about you? All the vile obscenities? Don't tune out their malicious filth, the brawling invective that never, ever lets up. The Old Testament reading comes from the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 16, verses 14 through 23. At that very moment, the Spirit of God left Saul, and in its place, a black mood sent by God settled on him. He was terrified. Saul's advisors said, this awful, tormenting depression from God is making your life miserable. "O Master, let us help. Let us look for someone who can play the harp when the black mood from God moves in. He'll play the music, and you'll feel better." Saul told his servants, "Go ahead. Find me someone who can play well and bring him to me." One of the young men spoke up. "I know someone. I've seen him myself. The son of Jesse of Bethlehem, an excellent musician. He's also courageous of age, well-spoken, and good-looking. And God is with him." So Saul sent messengers to Jesse, requesting, "Send your son David to me, the one who tends the sheep." Jesse took a donkey, loaded it with a couple loaves of bread, a flask of wine, and a young goat, and sent his son David with it to Saul. David came to Saul and stood before him. Saul liked him immediately and made him his right-hand man. Saul sent word back to Jesse, "Thank you. David will stay here. He's just the one I was looking for. I'm very impressed by him." After that, whenever the bad depression from God tormented Saul, David got out of his harp and played. That would calm Saul down, and he would feel better as the moodiness lifted. Our New Testament reading today comes from the book of Revelations, chapter 20, verses 1 through 6. It is entitled 1,000 Years. "I saw an angel descending out of the heaven. He carried the key to the abyss in a chain, a huge chain. He grabbed the dragon, that old snake, the very devil himself. Chained, not claimed. Chained him up for 1,000 years. Dumped him into the abyss. Slammed it shut and sealed it tight. No more trouble out of him. Deceiving the nations until the 1,000 years are up. After that, he has to be let loose briefly. I saw thrones. Those put in charge of judgment sat on the thrones. I also saw the souls of those beheaded because of their witness to Jesus and the Word of God, who refused to worship either the beast or his image, refused to take his mark on the forehead or the hand. They lived and reigned with Christ for 1,000 years. The rest of the dead did not live until the 1,000 years were up. This is the first resurrection, and those involved, most blessed, most holy. No second death for them. They're priests of God and Christ, and they reign with him for 1,000 years." And here ends our readings for the day.